Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Samu. You have seen me today, as probably already. If you want to notice that you missed something great because the off season is kicking off. But today, there's also between off seasons, there's also other thing that's called the normal season, and there's also the playoffs coming up shortly. For today, we're gonna have the playoff preview. I'm not alone. I'm joined for Scissor for the first part of it. Welcome.
Did you just say that we have between the off seasons we have the main season? Anyway, good evening.
Indeed. Between the off season, we have the main season. There's the playoff preview today happening, so we're gonna have a little look at the teams which qualified in the regular season for those playoffs, and also got a few questions towards a few of them. So maybe they have some great insights into the division as well as we have prepared some nice stats onto a few of those teams. Anyways, but as the season is coming to an end, that means also the next season is coming up soon. After the season is before the season, as you always say. So the signups for the next season are open. Make sure you sign yourself up for that, as I'm just opening. There we go. The signups will close on the 28th of August. And then we have seeding on the 29th, on the 30th of August. So make sure you are signed up by then. Afterwards, it's a little bit rough to get teams into the competition. So make sure you sign up. Either you can sign up alone as a free agent or with a team of less than 5 and you get filled up so you have enough players, or you can sign up with a team of up to 9 players total, and then you have 10 weeks to play, and then you might be back here in the player preview where we will talk about you. Alrighty, but with that, let's jump into the first division. What is the lowest division we have, Mr. Caesar?
Lowest division, the most interesting division of them all is, of course, Division 7. Start with our stats and our data points. Let's see. Yep. Well, here's Lounge favorites, of course. You'll see this across all of the divisions, most likely. It's Infernal Shrines. And in Division 7, we also like Tomb of the Spider Queen and Battlefield of Eternity.
Indeed, very brawly maps those are. Like, not those big Cursed Hollows, Sky Temple, macro maps, rather it's like, we're gonna face each other, but this also means there are gonna be a lot of kills, but there's also a few people which don't die and will grab those high KDA numbers. We have Voltage with 10.94 being the only one above 10, very close to 11 even, just being above everyone else in the rest. Is Moon 9.62, very close to the 10 KDA as well, and Lemons 315 also just a little tad behind, but they're very close. But there's also a few other people, It's not only about not dying, it's about having fun. And how do you have fun, Scissor?
By picking a lot of different heroes and showing those off. Like in Division 7, we have Faction with 15 different heroes, followed by Malpercio and Calvisius, 14 and 13 different heroes respectively. Like, there's a lot of different heroes to be played, so. And all of them have their own unique playstyle, which you can enjoy.
Indeed. But if you are still getting picked above the others, above the average, and one of them is Anduin, of course, just having this ability to pull out your teammate into safety spots is a really, really strong tool for every situation. My healer is always like, I've got 2 pulls, so only 2 of you are allowed to in. The other 2 are not allowed to in, so please don't run it down everyone. But yeah,
Yes.
then next up we have Leoric and Dark, which is a quite surprising one for me. I did not expect offense to see that high in the list, besides Blaze potentially or Hogger, but I guess Hogger not so used to be seen in Division 7, but still there's Johanna and there's a few others, so very interesting to
Those
see
would
those
be
two coming
banned
in.
more often than picked. So maybe in Division 7 there's more focus on banning out the tanks and the damage dealers, and then the offlaners people can take their comfort picks, and that's how Leoric and Dahaka end up in here.
Indeed, Dahaka is great, so pick Dahaka and win with Dahaka. Alright, good thing. But anyways, that also will leave us with the next up. We will have the teams coming in. So first placed, we have the Savage Novelty Honkers, as they chose to go up against Good Grief. Good Grief, also a long-standing team in Heroes Lounge.
Yeah,
Great.
the Savage Novelty Honkers answered some questions for us to give us some insight in their thought process on the season. Questions like who do you think will end up in the final, which they answered themselves. Like, nothing wrong with some confidence, right?
No, it's never wrong to be confident in yourself. It would still be interesting to see who they think has the biggest shot to making it into the playoffs, like into the finals against them.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Potential problems in Tychus, apparently. Like, I think they like to play big, juicy heroes then if they say that the Tychus is a problem. Or, well, Tychus is strong overall.
Any Diablos in chat?
Maybe so, maybe so. Hardest opponent during their season is HOTS Musical, who also made it to the playoffs, so they might even end up facing them during the finals.
But they're in the same bracket, so they will face in the semifinals already. As Lagomorpha got HOTS Musical, as Lagomorpha was 4th placed. On the other side, we have Juicy Mortals picking in Crust We Trust being the 2nd spot here. And they've also answered us some questions. Who do they think will be in the finals?
Sorry, who were you talking about? The Juicy Mortals.
Juicy Mortals, right? Yes.
Excuse me, yeah. Well, they think that the grand final will be between the Savage Novelty Honkers and themselves. More confidence. I love to see it. Their greatest potential challenge is Weeping Angle, who they got stomped hard by during the season, which was also their toughest opponent. So their greatest potential challenge and their toughest opponent is the same team.
Indeed. Juicy Mortals are not in the best, or not in the having a rough bracket for themselves. Is there something like a hero pool who they one trick or something? Maybe some insights on that we have on them.
Yes, for sure. Let's take a quick look. If I can pick that up. Oh, I don't have team stats, just overall stats, so I cannot.
They say about themselves that they have a very wide hero pool of heroes and no one-trick ponies, so nothing special to ban against them. So let's see if they can use their flexibility. As in the same side of the bracket, they will have Mission Unknown and the personal greatest challenge, Weeping Angel, coming in on that bracket half.
Yes, indeed. But we have one more question sheet of answers out of Mission Unknown. Okay. We should have that. We're placed 3rd in this division. Who answered a lot of see above. But let's start at above then. Who they think will be in the grand finals. It's Savage Novelty versus In Crust We Trust, the first team who didn't place themselves in the finals.
Indeed. Really respecting their opponents there. And then who is your greatest potential challenge? The Savage Novelty Honkers and In Crust We Trust. Who was the hardest opponent in the main season? See above, the Savage Novelty Honkers and In Crust We Trust. So really a lot of respect towards those two teams, and it really shows us they are on the different side of the bracket.
Well, I want to congratulate them because apparently it's their first season ever in Heroes Lounge.
Ooh.
And they made it to 3rd place, so very well played by them. Apparently Murky. They have some Murky enjoyers, or they just don't like heroes being banned against them and just call out the Murky for a ban.
Indeed, it's definitely a possibility. As, yeah, that is Division 7. A lot of good teams there. Any favorite of yours, Scissor, on those teams who you think is gonna advance?
I mean, the top teams are all very close in standings. Like we have 8 wins, 7 wins, and 6 wins made it to the finals. So I do not have one standout team like they won all their matches. Even the top team dropped few maps here and there. So Well, I do think that the Savage Novelty Honkers will make a good chance, as they did end up in that top position. I do not think that it's 100%. Like, they are definitely going to make it. Everything to play for still.
Indeed. All right, and with this, let's jump to the next divisions after 7. As everyone hopefully learned in the primary school, comes the number 6. And for Division 6, we kind of have a similar scheme. So the top 7 teams, or the top 9 teams even, very close in terms of wins overall. So not too big of...
Yeah, 8, 7, and 6 wins here as well. Same with the map picks. As we have Infernal Shrines, Tomb of the Spider Queen, and Battlefield of Eternity as the favorite maps. So that's interesting, and interesting to see that we probably that's a picture that was painted across the board. We have KDAs as well. This time we have 2 people above 10, with Battle Mercy being the top contender with 11.67. And Cantinum with 10.22. Followed by Marinero with 9.96. Almost to that 10 mark at least, but did not quite make it.
Yeah, Battle Mercy, the first one to get above the 11 KDA mark. Let's see if we will have more of those. And then looking at the hero pool, we do have very close to the 20 different heroes, which is actually quite insane when you think about it. It's just 10 games and up to 3 maps per game, so you can play up to 30 different heroes if it goes to full length. And Luca is up on 19 different heroes, so very close to a different hero every single game. Lizzie Rain has 15 different heroes, and L3 and 930 different heroes. So, even though it does not sound that impressive compared to Luca, but 15 and 13 different heroes is still a really big hero pool. It's really hard to ban out someone who is that big of a
I'm sure Lucas's team just made it sure that they always went 2-1, so they had more maps to play, more heroes, just to pad that stat.
Maybe.
Anyway, speaking of heroes, we have Anduin once again, top picked, this time with 113 games. How many games are there in a season? Depends on the number of teams, I guess. But that's a lot of games that he's been picked in.
Yeah, he's just continuing with the I have a button to pull you out. I'm a very safe healer. He also has Light Bomb, of course, to help out with the engages. So yeah, Anduin really being up the list. But then 2 of the heroes I mentioned earlier already, Blaze and Johanna, coming in on the 2nd and 3rd spot for Division 6 most picked heroes. So
very strong heroes, and this time apparently not banned as often. And well, when you're not banned, you can be picked up. So this time Blaze and Johanna make an appearance in the top hero stats as well.
Indeed. In the meantime, we already have Don't Blink from the Rentness in the Twitch chat being like, we played Anduin anyway. So yeah, kind of everyone does, it seems.
Well, you don't have to play him. You'll just stand out as being those guys.
Indeed. But with that, we do also have a little look at the teams of the division. We have Neo Unity being the top spot in Division 6, being, together with the Depression Session, the only 2 teams with 8 wins. But Neo Unity has a map score of 13, while Depression Session only has 8. So Neo Unity really, really good at not losing any maps, but rather winning 2-0 against their opponents.
I mean, only 8. That's still a very comfortable match. But wait, that does mean that they went 2-1 on every map, doesn't it? Almost every map.
Almost, yeah. Actually. Oh, yeah, they also lost, but it was very close to 2-1 most of the games.
Fair enough.
Unity.
Anyway,
New Unity always won 2-0, and whenever they lost, they also won a map, except for once. So
anyway, Svartalheim produced a small video for us as well, answering the questions that we announced earlier. So we should be able to play that for you
Hello everyone, welcome to Heroes Lounge Season 17 wrap-up. I'm here as Tofu just to tell you what happened during Season 17 in case you missed some action. Some of the things that happened was the Athena Championship.
Yeah, quick moment. As technical difficulties are rising. Video is always.
Yeah, this is the first time that we're doing this sort of production quality. So there's some small issues that we might run into or might not run into, and apparently we've hit those. But we should be good now. So let's try and enjoy that once again.
Hello guys, it's Gorge. I'm signing for Splatterheim. I'm from Poland, and I'll be answering 6 questions that Transparent gave us. So the first one: who will be in the grand finale? So hopefully us, of course. But if to be specific, it's probably gonna be New Unity. They've been great so far in this season, pretty good. The lineup is also pretty good. Like they're just really good. Second question. Who's the greatest potential challenge? So probably New Unity still, because they're really good. They beat us 2-0, so like that's pretty challenging in my opinion. But also the version session, they have a really good lineup. The version session has actually very good players and really good map awareness and stuff. I'm like, they are really good, so that's probably gonna be a bit of a challenge right there. So yeah, we'll see. First question. Who was the hardest opponent in the main season? So that's a bit of question, but if I have to recall correctly, Mocus Forales was a team that we played for the longest time. The free map, which 2 games were really long, and one even ended up as a base race. So they won it sadly. So, but like they was pretty hard. So I think kudos to them. They were pretty hard opponents. Kinda sad they didn't make it to playoffs, but you know, not everybody can make the cut. Fifth question: any teams or friends or screen partners in the playoffs? I mean, yeah, sure, we can say it. We are in kind of friendly terms with the person session, although we didn't screen often. We are still pretty like on friendly sides, so I think we're good. So yeah, I think that those are like our only like more friendly teams with us. So yeah. Now, the most important question you may ask: who do you ban against this Svartalheim, bro? Bro, it's really easy. You just ban the slap god himself, the Abatur. Come on, man! Don't let us pick it. You will regret it, bro. You will get slapped right there. So I would be careful on your side, bro. But so yeah. Anyway, guys, good luck.
All right, thank you for that. Rosars coming in with a quick video on their side. Yeah, as you mentioned, Mocus Forales just barely not make the cut for the Division 6. Instead, they are going up against City Core on the same sort of bracket. They have the team they mentioned as well, the Depression Session, and they will go up against Additional Functionality, where the interesting part is Additional Functionality actually managed to win against Neo Unity in the last round of the regular season, 2-1. So they might also just came in late into the season. So let's see, maybe they can also make some upsets here and show out how strong they really are. Meanwhile, on the other side of Neo Unity, we have Shoryuken go facing them in the first series, while in the second series there will be less Intigneurs against the Rentners. Rentners also a long-standing team in Heroes Lounge, a little bit of a different roster this season, but still made it to the playoffs.
Yeah, congratulations to all 8 teams making it to the playoffs as well here. Hopefully they'll have good fun during the playoffs, and well, we'll see two of them at least in the finals.
Indeed. Do we have any fun stats on any of the divisions, by the way? Talking to the voice in the back on the division. Never mind. It seems like we are done with Division 7 and 6, so we head into a little wee break. Thank you, Zizo, for joining me. As next up, we will have 2 more people jumping in, which are gonna be
Me and Noz.
the beautiful Zizo.
I will try my best. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for everyone for being around for now, and hope you will stay around for later on. And bye.
I'll do it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Samu has been replaced by a much more handsome host now, as you can clearly see. Whereas Scissor over on my other side here is as handsome as ever, as we do get ready to take a look at Divisions 4 and 5 into this evening's playoff preview.
Yeah, great to have you here as well, Noz.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I haven't been as active as I would have liked this season. I'm very busy in real life, but had to make time for the draw show, of course.
Yeah, that's a statement I can get behind. But here is some more stats. Top maps remain the same, with Infernal Shrines being the lounge favorite, followed by Tomb of the Spider Queen and Battlefield of Eternity.
Shocker.
Big shocker right there, indeed. Hero pools keep on growing, however, with Kazim having 20 different heroes played during the regular season. That's a lot of heroes, but not to be not to be outdone. English hard. Aristophane and Azok also playing a lot of heroes, 16 and 13 respectively.
Yeah, pretty sizable hero pools, I'd say. They're all about 4 times bigger than mine. So, respect to all these deep hero pools that we've seen consistently over the years in Heroes Lounge. But yeah, 20 heroes for Kazim. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I like to stick with like you said, 4 or 5, maybe branch out sometimes, then make it up to like maybe 9 or 10 unique heroes, but 20? That's a lot. We also have KDAs, this time a lot closer, all above 10. Seelan Freza stealing the crown here with 10.58, followed by Faust and Chaos Kaiser with 10.42 and 10.19.
Yep. Again, significantly higher than my KDA. I'm sure I didn't calculate it this season, but I would be very surprised if it's anywhere near these. So, very well played to all of these players.
Pretty sure my KDA was negative this season, so there's that. Anyway, we have Anduin stealing the top spot once again. You'll figure when people start banning him, but maybe that's just because he's Anduin. Like, he's not good enough to be banned, but he is good enough to be picked consistently with the tools that he has. The root, the heals, and of course the get out of jail free card.
Yeah, and I mean, like, pretty much all season, Rhaegar and Stukov were like permabanned, so Anduin does, of course, race to the top of the charts then, alongside maybe someone like Brightwing. But I think Anduin, in low elo in particular, always has been a very, very powerful... Just he has so much utility in his kit as well as all of the healing. So no real surprise to see him at the top of the leaderboard when I feel like the support pool was a little bit tighter this year, considering Rhaegar and Stukov were basically permabanned.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, Joanna makes another appearance on the leaderboard. Very strong tank, of course. And this time, first time we see him, Muradin also makes an appearance here.
Yeah, always love to see a bit of Muradin. He's probably like up there with Diablo, maybe as the most entertaining tank to watch. It's pretty much you go face, and if it works out well, then it's always a fun one to watch. So hopefully we'll see more of that in the playoffs.
Yeah, can't disagree there. Anyway, we also have 8 teams once again making it to playoffs. This time, the top team did kind of crush the season with Oni-chans taking a perfect 10 out of 10 wins, followed by...
Yeah, they did go 10 for 10, but they will not be going 13 for 13 because they've actually not going to be available for the playoffs, which obviously makes things so spicy when you have this like really dominant team who were, as you mentioned, going the whole season unbeaten, and they're not going to be in playoffs. If you look at the next 4 teams, they were all on 7 wins, so the top of the division is pretty spicy.
And it will be a lot closer during the playoffs, I'd imagine. Let's see, do we have... Here... Do we have cards for this division? I don't think we do.
Excellent question.
I don't think we have the... No, Rhaenyra Clan and Fat Asgard provided some answers to our questions that we stated. To look at the data as well. Fat Asgard. Who do you think will be in the grand final? Rhaenyra Clan and Fat Asgard, or Fat Asgard and Brazoe Smurfy. So placing themselves in those finals at the very least against, well, either of the other teams.
Oh yeah, you love to see that confidence coming in, saying that they will be there at the end of the season, especially when considering Oni-chans aren't there as one of the top competitors. Fat Asgard finished in 3rd place in the regular season, so I suppose they'd be kind of the 2nd seed, maybe tied 1st seed along with Sloth High Lords. Both teams ended with 7 wins and 15 map wins, so they will be one of the favorites. It will be interesting to see how they get on.
Yeah, and apparently Oni-chans were their hardest opponent during the main season, but their greatest potential challenge will be the Rhaenyra Clan, so they do hope to see them in the finals, or maybe they're hoping for Brazoe Smurfy, so they're not having to face that greatest potential challenge.
Yeah, well, Rhaenyra Clan did actually take a 2-0 victory over Fat Asgard during the regular split, so I can see why they would see them as the potential greatest challenge, especially, as you mentioned, with the number 1 team, Oni-chans, not being there. So I can understand why they have their eyes focused on RC.
Yeah, that's fair enough. They apparently do not have any friends in the playoffs. All of them got kicked out during the regular season. So yeah, gotta step over the corpses of your friends to get that victory. Kerrigan seems to be a dangerous hero in their hands, so teams should watch out for that and maybe ban it against them. And their rivals in the playoffs is the Renai clan, who they, as you already mentioned, they lost to. So there's that. But speaking of Renai clan, we have some answers from them as well. Renai clan does not place themselves in the grand finals. Instead, they're thinking that it will be Sloth High Lords versus the MMA. That's the Minion Master.
Mighty Minion Army.
Mighty Minion Army.
Yeah, interesting that they wouldn't vote for themselves here. Especially, again, these guys came in with a record of 7-3, so you'd think they'd be somewhat confident. But yeah, maybe a little bit more relaxed and trying to put the expectation away from themselves, and they can go for a quote-unquote underdog story and make their way to the finals. But I don't know. I don't think they're fooling anybody.
Who knows? Well, they think that the Mighty Mean Army is their greatest potential challenge during this during the season. So even though they came in 8th with the only team that had quote unquote only 5 victories from the teams that made it to the playoffs, their hardest opponent during the main season was apparently not Oni-chans, but the Side Hardos. So they did not make it to the playoffs. So do not have to worry about that one.
Interestingly enough, I'm actually looking at this though, and they lost to MMA during the regular season, but they didn't lose to Side Hardos. So the fact that they say that Side Hardos were one of the more difficult ones, despite the fact that they beat them, maybe that's why they're saying that MMA is a bigger threat. Maybe they read this as who's your biggest opponent in the main season who didn't make it to playoffs or something like that.
That's fair enough. That could be it. Well, they have a lot of friends in the playoffs. MMA, Sloth High Lords, Monkey Business. Did Monkey Business make it to the playoffs though?
They finished 10th in the regular season, and it looks like they didn't actually make it to the playoffs.
It's unfortunate. They have a Zeratul player on their team, so people should watch out for the Darkstalker. That is, and MMA, once again, their greatest rival in the playoffs.
Yeah, it definitely seems like they maybe have some sort of relationship with this team, which anybody who's played in Lounge for a long time, you do kind of get these days where you have certain teams that you end up facing off against a lot, or end up having a good bit of banter between them, and it seems like maybe Renai Clan and MMA have that going on. So hopefully they'll get to meet each other and have the battle that they desire.
Hopefully on the great screen as well, but we shall see how it will play out during the playoffs.
So I think that's it for the slides that we have for Division 5? Question mark.
Yeah.
So yeah, any matchups in particular when you look at the bracket that jump out to you as being potentially a good one to watch for the quarterfinals?
I mean, I love me some Sloth High Lords, and as Mighty Minion Army has been mentioned a lot, I'm thinking that would be a good match to start off with.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at that one as well. That's going to take place tomorrow evening at 20:30 CEST. No one has signed up to cast it yet, so I know there's certainly a few casters in chat tonight. So make sure you guys get ready for the playoffs now and get your eyes in and get those.
Tuesday, right?
Tomorrow is in fact Tuesday. Yes.
Here we go. Okay. Let's see if we can get some stats for Division 4 as well. Should be top map as once again Infernal Shrines, but we have another map in the second position, which is Towers of Doom instead of the Spider Tomb. Third is still Battlefield of Eternity, so I'm not sure how that one didn't slot over just a bit. Instead, they said no spiders in this division. We'll instead go for, well, that other map, Towers of Doom.
Towers of Doom sneaking its way in there. It's my favorite map personally, so pretty happy to see that the rest of Division 4 agrees with me.
I do like me some Towers of Doom as well. Anyway, hero pools, all with 11. We have Zuldrak, Flash, and one you should be familiar with no, that's not you. It's Toxic Tofu.
She is my teammate.
You should be. There we
so
go.
I'm pretty familiar with her, all right. Yeah. So yeah, I'm probably never going to hear the end of this now that she's made it onto the biggest hero pool for tied first as well. So yeah, congratulations to all three of these players who. I mean, it's a good bit down from the last division where 20 I think was the highest hero pool.
Yeah.
So 11. I wonder if that is maybe much more indicative of Division 4 being more kind of focused and having a tighter but more well-refined hero pool across the board, or whether we just need to be a bit more adventurous in Div 4.
Hey, you should just poke Tofu a bit. Get 3 more heroes in there for next season. That's the goal. Anyway, KDAs 2 above 10 with Monarchs stealing the crown here, 10.37, followed very closely by Enroth, 10.35, just a 0.02% difference in the KDA. And Kira closing out that top 3 with 9.48. Any of these players stand out to you?
Funnily enough, I think Kira is the only one that I played against this season in Division 4. I think we played them pretty early on in the season. And we did kind of get our booty spanked a little bit, so no real surprise to see players of this caliber making it through. I will also say that I finished in like 12th, so I didn't play against a lot of the top teams. But
well, that happens sometimes. There's always next season for that. Don't forget to sign up if you haven't yet.
True.
Most heroes, Anduin still in that top slot. But this time, Rhaegar makes an appearance, apparently not banned out as much in this division as he was in the lower divisions. And Myrddin is still on the board in the 3rd position.
Yeah, which means this is the first one we've seen, I think, with no Johanna, interestingly enough. Again, I suppose Johanna, I feel like Johanna was banned in a lot of my games in Division 4 this season.
That might be it, yeah.
But yeah, no real surprise, I think, with the others. It seems like Myrddin starting to raise more and more higher in priority and the further up we go. So cool to see how that trend will develop as we move on to the top few divisions.
Yes, and of course we had some teams answer some questions as well. Start off with the team at the top slot with the Laser Sharks. And they placed themselves in the finals against the number 2 of this division in Boppeltroepen. So not a bad guess, I guess.
It's the safe bet, yeah. These two teams did meet in round 1, and Laser Sharks came out on top with a 2-0 that game. So they might be actually saying that they think they're going to win the whole thing by saying this.
I mean, they still have to prove it, and a best of 5 is always a little bit different than a best of 3. So there's some possibilities for upsets right there. Greatest potential challenge will be Hockey Gaming. Hockey Gaming, who beat them in the regular season, it was also their hardest opponent, and they apparently chose them as the first opponents just to send a message. Just let that sink in. They lost during the regular season, and they decide we're gonna get you back, and we're gonna get you back real quick.
Very, very spicy. I don't think so. Hauki actually did finish in the top 4, which meant that Laser Sharks didn't have the option to pick them. Hauki won and there was a whichever way that I think was the final game of the season swung, it could have meant that they finished in the bottom half. So it did mean that Hauki actually are facing off tonight against Not Stonks. But it's still a nice call out from Laser Shark saying that they think Hauki could be a very dangerous opponent.
I thought there might have been some backdoor talking, like, "Are you okay if we pick you?" And then if they are okay, but that apparently did not happen. Well, they have friendly interactions with Bobble Trooper, who they expect to make it into the finals. So maybe if they scrim a lot as well, they know each other and read into those strategies as well.
Yeah, and nice to see again people saying having friendly interactions with other teams, and it honestly is one of my favorite parts about playing in Lounge these days, is when you get to have these kind of friendly rivalries between your teams. So cool to see it.
Apparently teams should ban Mephisto against them. I think teams should ban Mephisto more because Mephisto is apparently very strong at the moment. So
yeah, they did also play Mephisto 7 times this season and won all 7 of those times. So they might not be memeing with this one. This one might actually be legit.
Yeah, general PSA, Mephisto pretty strong. There's a lot of rivals in the playoffs. Lag Strikes Again, played them before. Oh wait, that's not a team name. Lag Strikes Again, we played them before, and it's the first season that we beat them. I thought there's commas in here. Those are all team names. No, those are not all team names, Scissor. That's one team name, and there's just a message explaining why the team is their rival during the playoffs.
It's fine. I'll make a new team next season called Played Them Before, just to make it look like you were actually kind of a savant, you know?
Oh yeah. When that's in please don't make a team name Play That Before. That'd be horrible. What team did you play again last evening? Yeah, I played them before. Yeah, but what team is it?
Well, Played Them Before. Yeah, we've played them before.
Yeah. Oh God. Please no. Anyway, we have more messages. We have Bubble Trooper as well, who answered some questions. And spoiler alert, there's a lot of laser sharks in there. Who do you think will be in the grand final? Laser Sharks versus Hockey Gaming. It's almost the same as what Laser Sharks said, except they said Bubble Trooper. But apparently, Bubble Trooper places Hockey Gaming in there instead. Like, use the replace no jutsu to set Hockey Gaming instead of themselves in the finals.
Yeah, Hockey getting a couple of shout-outs here. The Finnish fishies apparently have made quite an impression on the top half of this division. So it will be interesting to see if they do live up to those expectations. And actually, just call it out that Hockey Gaming are currently playing against Not Stonks Esports over on Hamas Valis' stream. So do be sure to check that out. Maybe have it on your second monitor and keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, or once we're done. Anyway, we also have the Greatest Potential Challenge in Laser Sharks because they finished top of the seasons. In the regular season, however, they named Bakufu. How do you? That's a team name.
Bakufu, yeah, I'm guessing.
Yep, they apparently they also have a love letter to Earnhardt. Love those guys. And we have the first Genji enjoyers. Which teams should ban against Bubble Trooper?
Nice to see that they are playing against Iran Hot in the first round of the playoffs, actually. That is also scheduled for this evening, by taking a quick look at the calendar. And I don't see it in the calendar anymore, so maybe it's wrapped up already, has it? No, it's been rescheduled, actually. In fact, I've been baited, so it's going to take place on Thursday.
Yeah, might be there. And Aaron Hots are their big rivals. Also their friends, but also their rivals. It's like the anime.
Greatest anime betrayals of all time.
Oh yeah,
this Thursday.
Let's go. And finally, we have some messages from Bakufu as well. We apparently do not have messages from Bakufu because
blame trans.
because blame trans. We are sorry for everyone. Um, I could get the messages. Let me pull them up right here. They won't be on screen. We are so sorry for your inconvenience. But they placed Laser Sharks in the finals, who apparently to them have the greatest chance to win the entire cup. But their greatest threat should be Hockey Gaming, so maybe places them in the finals as well.
Yeah, it seems like these were the popular teams from the teams who were asked. That Laser Sharks and Hockey do seem to be the current favorites.
Yep. Let's see. We also have the question. Do have them on my screen? I promise. Greatest potential challenge. They do not know, but out of the 7 potential opponents, 4 of them already beat them. Laser Sharks with the clear win, and if they could choose an opponent themselves, they would like to not face a team that already beat them, and those are apparently not in the top 4.
yeah,
There's
that's pretty familiar to my playoff experience last season. All right, but they have mentioned that they've made a few friends in the Heroes Lounge community, and I've actually just said that the Heroes Lounge community is just a big family. So, isn't that nice? Mentioning that, common to see a few familiar faces, which that's we have friends. Oh,
that's very, very nice of them to say. Yeah, that's basically it for Division 4 as well.
Yeah. So, very exciting qualifiers or playoffs to be taking place. As I mentioned, we have Hockey playing against Notstonk tonight, so make sure to check out that stream after this stream is finished. And then the rest of the games will be taking place on Wednesday and Thursday, so keep an eye out for those as well. Scissor, thank you very much for joining me as we delve into the epic divisions. And I believe you're making way after this as well, so...
I will be leaving the stream for now, and we will be handing over the mic to Aviator and Samu.
That we certainly will. So stay tuned, folks. Stick right where you are. We'll be back in just a few moments.
All right, everybody, welcome back. As Nos had to leave. He was maybe too handsome for it, or maybe not. But anyways, we've got another handsome person joining us in as welcome Aviator. Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think I was on this channel once this season. Otherwise, that would have probably been the first season I think since I joined Lounge, where I wouldn't have been on it. So yeah, absolutely. But hi, Samu.
All right, thank you for joining us. Let's keep in mind, sign up for season 19 signups are open, ! Sign up. And yeah, after having a look after the bottom half of the divisions, division 8 to 4, we're gonna jump straight into the division number 3, where one old team of mine is also part of, and so it's a little bit of a heart of mine as well going into this division already.
So you're rooting for them to win, or you're rooting for them to get destroyed first round? What's the?
It's a mixed feeling, but I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for them to win. I've also sucked for them in between the seasons, so you know, good friends of mine. So go Helheim. But yeah, the maps. Looking at the top maps for Division 3, we do see we don't see surprises there. Inferno Shrines, Tomb of Spider Queen, Battlefield of Eternity, 49, 36, and 33 picks there. So not too big surprises there in terms of map picks. Then going forward, we do see biggest hero pool. We do again see the number 20 different heroes pick beaten, this time by Zeus with 21, right behind with Darby with 17, and MXD with 14 picks. So Zeus especially, again, very, very flexible hero pool on the side of no weaklings. They sadly did not make it into the finals, the playoffs.
Do you reckon that's a correlation though? Whether the more heroes you play, the less likely you are, perhaps?
Maybe.
No, all the OTPs get in, but the ones with the flex, they you never see them.
I mean, I was in the playoffs last season, the biggest hero pool in Div 2, so there are some outliers, but I guess outliers underline the rules.
Of course.
But yeah, looking over to highest KDA, we have not the KDA of 11 beaten this time, but we have the KDA of 10 beaten 3 times. Swanbang, very close, 10.0 to just this one dev less. And, sorry, one dev more, and he would not be up in that nice, cozy double-digit spot there. Then, Astuk, 10.23, and Linux, very close to hitting those 11 spike, but very closely not making it. How's your standing on KDA players?
We hate KDA players. I hate them. I hate them. They're AFK. They're always running away from a team fight, like full HP. No, get out. Just die with your team. Stop it. Stop yeeting away and saving that KDA. We hate them.
Alrighty. With that being said, sometimes you have to say things like this. You also have a hero who is there to save those KDA to save those non-KDA players. Anduin, of course, again in the highest pick spot. And then we've got the tanks coming in. Johanna making a short appearance there in Division 6, I believe. Not sure if Division 5 and 4. I haven't looked too closely there. But Merlin is coming in, who was also there in Division 4 and 5, coming in this spot number 3. So yeah, not too big of a surprises there. Just very stable heroes in general. Johanna, Merlin, of course, just overall strong team. Especially Merlin making recently a little bit of a rise again in terms of being picked. So I'm very glad to see him in here. Alrighty, with that being said, we also, of course, did again ask the teams about some informations about them, and then we do have the Trying Dutchman. One of our favorite managers is in the team, Mr. Eriks, and yeah, very, very long-standing team already. And who do they think will be in the grand finals? Of course, themselves and the Pakas. So how's your feeling onto the Dutchman against Pakas?
I mean, Do we root for Eric's? I think we kind of have to at this point, right? I mean, I always actually like the Train Dutchmen as a team. They always seem to qualify, but not go the distance, as it were. So, hoping they can channel their inner Hercules and go the distance and maybe get some medals for them.
Indeed. And yeah, any teams they're friends with? Helheim, of course. Good boys. But the hardest opponent was no weaklings for them. They did barely not make it into the playoffs. As I have seen, but no weaklings in general. Very flexible team, having Broccoli, having Zeus on their roster. Very, very close. They got 9, so it's 1 spot away from being in the playoffs. Weaklings, so yeah. They don't have to face them again. I guess that's a big happy point for them.
No weaklings are always the fan favorites, right? I don't know why, but they always seem to I don't know, they've got like a little following. Same as the Laser Sharks from the previous division. They're always the 2 teams that seem to be up there. I think the Rumble kind of helped actually with those 2 teams from, was it last season? I think where they seem to go all the way pretty much. It was just like them 2. So yeah, that's quite cool.
Also, a good answer. Who is your greatest potential challenge? Grenham, who lost 1 game this season because he made us play with a sub, so... Alrighty, but we did not only ask them, of course, we also asked Seon Van Lily, a bunch of Finnish dudes, and it means it's just Lily. So we have one of our moderators being really happy about it. Any happy giggles from Azak? I'm not sure if he's here. But yeah, they also do believe that the Trying Dutchmen are a really, really strong team in Division 2, and they think they will make it. And either them or another Finnish team with Sardinis in a can also. Very long-standing team in Heroes Lounge.
But interestingly, they thought the Trying Dutchmen were the hardest opponents for them, so that could be a little bit spicy. If like looking at the bracket quite quickly, they could potentially be in the finals if Trying Dutchmen win, obviously their quarters and their semis, and Seon Van Lily do the same. Then that'd be a tasty final between Seon Van Lily and the Trying Dutchmen.
Indeed. But before that, Seon Van Lily has to go get past Pakas on Rux, who was the favorite for the Trying Dutchman to come into the finals. So, and there's also, of course, always the Manjis. You're never allowed to forget the Manjis. They always got some tricks up the sleeve. May it be Mekaku with his Dukov, or just the Mila with the Chromie steps up kill with the Valera. They've got a few nasty picks, so you're not allowed to count them out either. So definitely a division where a lot of teams can compete for the really, really top spot on the finals. Right, which hero should we ban against Seon Van Lily? Banned Nova, 100% win rate, so that's definitely not a lie? Question mark?
That's a nice ban to have, I guess. You know, if you're forced to ban out Nova against a team, that's always a feels good for the Nova player.
We're checking in this. They do have a win with Nova, and it was actually once banned against them, so they might pull it out of the sleeves. You know, you've got to be really careful, because like whenever you have a Nova on the opponent's team, the burst damage she brings, if you don't manage to engage on her first, if she really is there to help with just one-shotting you, you might run into big trouble. So it's actually a really, really nice insight into their team. So it's great one there.
Absolutely. That's, as I said, it's a really nice one to have for them.
Right. And with that, I think we're done with Division 3. Anything you want to say about them?
No, I think, as you said, there's 2 Finnish teams. They both can't be in the final, right? So one of them needs to carry the sort of chalice onwards, and then hopefully it is going to be Eric's and his fellow HOTS players that could make it through, but have to see how they fare up. Perhaps some castles will be able to grab that as well.
Indeed. Alright, then let's jump over to Division 2. A division where I'm personally a little bit involved into.
Are you playing?
Yes.
Okay. It shows how much I've not followed anything pretty much Lounge related this season. I tend to take a season off, then play a season again, and this was my season off. So I've sort of been out of the mix, as it were. But you're on Tipsy top lane as a Godolphin?
Indeed. But before we go into the teams a bit more, let's have a look at the maps. As Infernal Shrines, Tomb of Spider Queen, Battlefield of Eternity, top 3 maps. Not a surprise there.
No, pretty standard.
Same,
Those three. Yeah.
the same throughout all of the divisions so far, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, please.
You're wrong. I think Towers of Doom was one of them in the previous.
True. I might, yeah, Towers of Doom might really slip in. It's true. It's a really nice map as well. Alrighty, but getting onwards from maps, there's of course a lot of different maps, but there's also a lot of different heroes, as we do have File with 13 different heroes this season in Division 2, Time Bullet with 14 different heroes, Grim 48 with 15 different heroes. Damn, Time Bullet not drafting me my different heroes, rather picking it up themselves apparently. But yeah, very, very big hero pools on a lot of people here, as I think I'm myself on 12 or 11, so...
I'm pretty impressed. Time Bullet actually won games with playing 14 heroes to get up there. That's pretty impressive, Time Bullet. You should be proud. Take a moment and savor that moment.
Only counting on Time Bullet, not on the rest of his team. But anyways, winning also means killing opponents more than dying. Usually, of course. I mean, there's always those outliers, but sometimes you just go 520 in the game and still manage to win it because the opponents don't get enough value out of the kills. But anyways, those you will still not have the best KDA then, as Murloc Arcade 9.94, very close to the 10 KDA, then more Tequila on those 10 KDA, very, very close. And on the first spot we have Eldoc, the support of Balls to the Wall, with 10.89 KDA. In the meantime, in chat, thank you. I also have to thank my sponsorship, my team.
Yeah, that's true. And then the most played heroes, again, is Anduin, but this time he was almost beat out by the little woofer Rhaegar. So 92 games played with Anduin, and then 91 with Rhaegar. And then third, obviously, we do see a tank again, and it's going to be Johanna with 89 games. So a lot. I think that's the closest one we've seen so far. Usually Anduin is leading the charge by far. So perhaps it'll get a bit closer as we go up in the divisions now.
Indeed. In the meantime, Dembole in the chat, Dobby is not included. Alright, but yeah, looking at the teams, we had a very, very close season in Division 2. As we have the top 3 spots with 7 wins, and then we have another 3 spots with 6 wins, and it goes down to 12 spots with 5 wins in total this season. So a very, very close Division 2. And we of course also asked some of the teams, starting out with Balls to the Walls, which healer Eldoc is the highest KDA in Division 2 this season. As he believes that Balls to the Walls and hopefully, and Worse Than Neptubis will be in the finals. So Worse Than Neptubis, a really, really strong team. And Balls to the Walls as well. But I believe they are on the same side of the bracket, if I'm not completely mistaken at the moment. Yes, they will be on the same side of the bracket. So it might already be a semi-final, final kind of style, if it comes through what they think. Of course, who is your greatest potential challenge? Ourselves, of course. It's always very poetic to call yourself a challenge, but it's always a big hurdle to overcome the tilt, overcome some mistakes and stuff. So I really like the answer of ourselves. It's looking to improve yourself rather than looking for the mistakes on others is always a very good way to go in life. Is there anything more to say about Balls to the Walls, Aviator?
Apparently we should ban Garrosh against them. Whether that's a bait or perhaps it's they're being for real. Obviously, Garrosh is one of those heroes that can catch people out by surprise. Yeah, I always yeah, if people don't pick anything to control him, obviously he gets a pretty free game and can pretty much solo carry the game. Especially since Decimate is pretty broken at 20.
Indeed. And as I'm just quickly checking the stats, Garrosh 4 picks, 18% pick rate on their side, 100% win rate, and then 12 banned on Garrosh against him. It's 54% of the games. It's just one more than half of the games Garrosh is banned against him. So definitely very, very comfy pick for them. So let's see. Let's see if this will be something the teams will look at. But in general, yeah, it seems like worse than Aptobis is a very close team, 2 balls to the walls. From the look of it. But let's jump.
And the bracket could look good for them potentially in that sense as well. So worse than Aptobis go up against Team Super Kulaks. And then if they win that one and balls to the wall win, then that's their rivalry match in the bottom half of Division 2.
In the next up, we also asked the Super and Super Bros about their view on the division, and they said exactly the same thing as I said already. The entire division was ridiculously close in terms of skill, so they have honestly no idea any 2 teams have a reasonable chance to reach the grand final. I think this is a very, very honest answers.
Yeah, I mean, when it's a division that close as well, it makes for interesting games at least. So if any team can win it as well, there's no sort of clear-cut favourite. That's always sort of good viewership.
The hardest opponent in the main season, a close call, but balls to the wall. They were pushed against the wall. They're apparently against balls to the wall. So yeah, they are a really good team. Maybe they showed some of the Garrosh in that series. But the Super and Super Bros are also another long-standing team in Heroes Lounge. Just got rid of Luca, Luca left them and now is playing in Division 6. So that it's quite an interesting side fact about him. But there's also which hero should teams first ban against you? Mentioning Anduin, who is just highly picked this season. As I feel like Anduin is getting picked a lot because of Stukov and Rega getting banned out that much. So Anduin is kind of the next in line in terms of healers. So not surprising to see him that high up the list. Any rivals in the play? Worse than Neptabis, but something is telling me we won't play each other. Oh, it's a little bit sad there. Anything more from you, Aviator?
On Division 2, I don't think so. Is that all the teams we have for Div 2 now as well?
Oh, there's another one. There is my own, of course. We also got asked on who we think will be in the grand finals, and as Super and Super Bros already said, it's really hard to say. Who has been extremely close in general this season. We have one person said, yeah, the best 2 teams will be it. So, but yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see who will it be. So let's check out who it is. Who's our greatest potential challenge? Probably worse than Aptobis. We did do a lot of scrims against them. We were very close with them, and we've done a lot of improvements since the last time we faced, where they beat us 2-0 in the regular season. But it always has been a back and forward with them, and even when we tend to give our all, they still seem be able to match us pretty well, so they will probably be our biggest obstacle. But you know, obstacles are meant to be cleared. And yeah, of course, always ban the Kerrigan of Time Bullet. He's insane on that hero.
Time Bullet on Kerrigan. Now, honestly, I would pay to see that. That sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. Count me in. Please let it through. Just one game so I can watch it, please.
All right, Time Bullet. You see, you've got a challenge there. yeah, I think that has been it for Division 2. As with that, we will soon move over towards the two highest divisions, which will be Division 1 and Division 1 Plus. And with that, it will be the end of me for today. So thank you all for watching me and Aviator for this Division 2-3. Also for everyone watching so far, I had a great time here being again a great time during the season. I hope everyone will sign up for the next season. Again, exclamation mark sign up if you want to sign up for season 19. And yes, it will be another season, even though the Heroes of the Storm announcement from Blizzard sides, we will not go down until they shut down the servers. But even then, we will find a way. So thank you all for watching for now. Thank you to Veda for joining me, as he will return soon with one of the most beautiful British guys there are. Transparent is coming in.
Aviator.
Already, Charlie, there's some technical. Transparent. There's some technical difficulties, and usually that's usually from my end. So I'm quite happy. I just get to sit back, chill. Are you live yet?
I believe I am live. I'm potentially too live now. But there we go. I think I've fixed my audio issues of how much people can hear me. Maybe I just need to move my mic a bit closer. But yes, we've got the last 2 divisions and some global stats to remaining. So, of course, maybe you're here, you want to sign up, ! Sign up, takes you to the detail. But let's get right into Division 1 Aviator. The weirdest division this season, as there was only 10 teams that started. 9 teams made it to the end. 8 teams are in the finals.
Commiserations to that one team, I guess. That's a little bit unlucky for them.
Yeah. Obviously, Blaze here has now come out as the top pick. No longer Anduin. Anduin has dropped off. Anduin is, bottom tier team thing. But here, Div 1, suddenly Blaze is that top pick. Valor underneath it. Anduin there as well. This sort of just shows that the meta has shifted as we get to the top.
I know we're talking about the picks, but are you sure these stats are up to date?
I know. As soon as I put this in, I was like, DK, highest KDA.
I think you've got lowest KDA the wrong way around, and it should be 1.61.
There is sometimes an error with the calculation on Stats of the Storm where there's a bit of funkiness going on. So maybe that's happened here with DKs. I'm pretty sure something weird's going on. Maybe he's uploaded the replays. Very strange, but
that does sound like DK. So we'll have to check on that one, guys, before we let DK celebrate. Don't you worry. But yeah, looking at the picks, first time Anduin's not up there, which is great. But Valor, first time we've seen a DPS this high, I think.
Yeah, it's true. It's mainly been bruisers, tanks, sort of been the main focus. A lot of flexibility, but obviously not a lot of flexibility in Div 1. Anyone just picks Valor. They just go for it. I mean, 45 matches. There are not a lot of matches in Division 1.
That's true.
So that's a 65%. That's over half of the games had Valor played in. This isn't like just percentage seen. This is played. 45 games played of the total. So, that's not bans. Games actually played. That's why there's no Johanna and stuff in the lower ones, because she's banned a lot. Valor played. I think, you've got to give that to some of the DPSs of Division 1 here.
Yeah, and all 3 hero pools are dead even on 14 played as well, by the way. That's pretty interesting. As you said, there's not been that many matches, so perhaps if but each team did have 9 games at least, so we'll have to see what it's going to be like. And then the map picks as well. Obviously, Shrine's still the top chosen map, 23, and then we've got BOE and Towers of Doom at 17 each. So pretty consistent with what we've seen. Towers of Doom or Tomb of the Spider Queen tends to be up there. So
yeah, and then, we've obviously seen this hero pool, as you say, only 14, Stahlfinger, and the rest of them all sort of there. But yeah, this is the thing. Looking at the breakdowns of the match, of course, Hands Up versus Who Is Next, Flexible, Spicy Slugs versus Team Player Play, Feet Up against Fat Jotunheim, Arm Wrestlers, and Team Cat. Loads of great teams, obviously, in Division 1. It's going to be hard to see, but we've had some correspondence, of course, with the teams, and we're going to go first into Hands Up.
Yeah, and Squeaky Week, obviously being the captain for Hands Up, has written his biopic, I guess, for for the information that we kindly asked him for. Now, I honestly do think I agree with him here, right? The dream final could be Hands Up against Feet Up for the memes.
Yeah, I mean, we hope so. We hope so, right? That's exactly what we want. And it's quite likely as well. These are some top teams, but they're going to have to battle through some other ones. So, the rivals would be Feet Up. And, Hands Up have shouted out White Tiger as well here. And we're going to see why very shortly. They did express more in detail why they did that. Let me just get that up on my screen. They said, shout out to White Tiger. Because for making the Hands Up and Feet Up themed emotes and banners alike. So, if you want some art done in relation to Hands Up or Feet Up, White Tiger's got a whole folder full of them.
Yeah, that's the only reason he's on the team, Feet Up, I think. That's what DK told me in confidence. So, there we are.
Yeah. So, speaking of Feet Up, should we have a look at what they provided us here with today? And you're going to want to prepare yourself for this one, Aviator. It's memes.
I think I've probably seen them all at some point in their Discord, but I'd happily see them all again. So yeah, obviously we asked teams to submit their questions, some questions that we asked them, and their answers. And White Tiger kindly obliged with just some memes.
There was some context to the memes as well. No, White Tiger did say, we've got this top one, obviously. The potential challenges of getting Creator Delta, Soak XP, etc., etc. And, just generally honourable mentions of Flapjack getting to be in the game. Fizz to turn up in the game. Fizz to turn up to any of the scrims or games. Who was supposed to be on the team, but has rarely played. So, yeah, we can see that. They did want to mention that obviously Hands Up being their rivals, but they are also concerned about the Spicy Slugs, who have a very strong roster in their eyes. Something to watch out for there.
Yeah, of course. We're talking about these two teams just because of their they're 5 friends with each other. So that's why we're talking about these teams. But obviously, to not sort of get overconfident, there are, as you mentioned, Flexible Spicy Slugs. There's Fat Jotunheim, Arm Wrestlers, and Team Cat, and who is next as well.
Yeah, speaking of Arm Wrestlers, let's have a little look at what they said. They said that people in the grand final, I think it will be them versus Hands Up. That's going to be their prediction there for the grand final. They didn't answer all the questions here, so they said the hardest opponents in the main season were Hands Up as well. They think that nothing matters to ban against them, and their favourite team to scrim were Taco and her team of Flexible Spicy Slugs. So some real camaraderie here in Division 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one good thing about having a smaller division. They were definitely having they could have more of a sort of a bromance or romance, as it were, going on as well with all the different teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see in Division 1, certainly. We can just cut back to the thing. Obviously, we have, Team Arm Wrestlers. They could end up against Hands Up in the final, obviously being on opposite ends of the brackets, but they're going to have to get through Team Cat and the winner of Feet Up and Fat Jotunheim. So, real tough stuff to look out for here. Now, Aviator, without further ado, let's move over to Division 1+.
The final one this evening.
Oh, and I've just...
What have you done?
My Division 1+ stats are just the same as Division 1. There we go. I've corrected it now. I had the wrong image loaded. As we can see here, Hanzo suddenly comes out of nowhere. Hanzo, that carry hero that many people say that if you can play incredibly, then you can just pick Hanzo, and there we see it. Far louder. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so the first time a DPS has topped the charts then, with 62 games, it's 84%. Blaze obviously second at 58. Blaze showing in Division 1 and 1+, and then Dahaka coming in close behind in third with 52. Now, top maps, first time we don't see Infernal Shrines. This is typical to what we see season on season on season. We've got BOE topping it, then Tomb of the Spider Queen, and then Towers of Doom. So 3 good maps. It's always nice to see where Shrines isn't always picked that often.
Yeah, and especially obviously here in the top division. I was just going to have a little look at the stats as well. I did have them available. But yeah, Infernal Shrines was number 4. But Battlefield of Eternity, for the first time, not being number 3, has been consistently number 3 in all of these, but suddenly makes its way to the top in Division 1+. In the past, Division 1+ has sort of shown just favoritism to 4 maps completely, but Dragonshire was actually hot on the heels of Infernal Shrines as well, with having 15 picks, whereas Infernal Shrines had 16. So it's certainly stuff to acknowledge here in what is considered the top tier of play of Heroes Lounge.
Yeah, so the 3 biggest hero pools obviously go over to Hiraeth at 15, Cookie at 14, and Helgao at 14 as well. And then the highest KDA, we see Hasuobs topping it at just shy of 11 at 10.99, Gunnar 30k coming in close at second at 10.19, and then Etrax third at 10.17. That's
yeah. To speak a little bit about also the heroes here as well being picked up. Obviously, people sort of keeping an eye out for Johanna. Definitely fallen off here in Division 1 Plus, although not on the stats for a lot of reasons because they were high in bans. Here in Division 1 Plus, they actually didn't have that many bans in the grand season, and actually they were just underneath, being in position number 4 with 49 games played for them and a total of 59% popularity. So they could have been there if we ordered it by popularity, but we like to do it by games played here. But yeah, an interesting stuff here. Obviously, a lot of teams backing Germany Strikes Back in the analysis. So we can have a little look at, obviously, Three-Legged Cat and what they had to say here as I transition. So they said that obviously they think the finals is going to be Three-Legged Cat versus Team Germany Strikes Back. That's not actually possible, but it's going to be a close semi-final. Germany Strikes Back obviously being those ones that everyone's a bit afraid of here in Division 1 Plus.
I mean, it's because Division 1 Plus is always that kind of... It's like, the top teams tend to relax a bit more and have a bit more fun, as it were, than perhaps in other competitions. But, they've got all those players where if they do, go into that try-hard mode, then, you have to back that team, right, to the final.
Yeah, and, they've won Heroes Lounge, the top division, so many times now, this sort of arrangement of very similar players. So it's kind of expected to see. The other team that answered a couple of questions for us in the top was the adorable Sanctioned Hamburgers. And I will get up their information very soon. So, obviously, they said that Team Germany will be in the grand final, the second contestant being a mystery. After that, the greatest challenges being the sort of top players here, the top teams in just generally around Division 1 Plus. The hardest opponent for them, though, were their teammates. Now, we've seen that a couple of times. A lot of people saying their teammates hold back the team.
That's a relatable answer if ever I've seen one. I think we've all been there, where you've got DK running it down on your team. It just always happens, right? Where you just end up with someone like DK, and your teammates can be difficult.
Yeah, and the rivalry that they're looking out for is Diablo's Overpower by Morenas versus Dahaka's Drag by MyTry. So obviously there's been a bit of a funky thing of being pushed and pulled around in that game. We'll have to look out for those as the matches come through. Obviously the grand finals for Division 1 Plus are going to be in 3 weeks' time. Now, Aviator, as we go back to our faces here, after discussing Division 1 Plus, we have one last thing to discuss with everybody here, and that is going to be the global stats here. So we can have a little look at the global map stats. No, I don't have a video for Garden of Terror, but the longest game was on Garden of Terror with 39 minutes and 15 seconds, and the shortest game, surprisingly, Dragonshire Aviator.
8 minutes 32. That's just run it down bot with triple camp probably.
Yeah.
And just end the game.
Unfortunately, I don't have the proper stat sort of way of showing them out. So I haven't been able to find which game it was and where it was, but it's obviously quite amusing. I'm sure someone in the chat may find it somewhere. But you can also see I've ordered it here in order of the popularity of the maps, pretty much, apart from Towers of Doom. And Dragonshire was not actually that. That has been typed in wrong. I've had to do a little bit slapdash. Dragonshire was 112 picks. So yeah, but we can see that 36 times Sky Temple was played. Less
across
popular than
all,
Volsky.
Yeah, across all 8 divisions as well. That's a pretty low amount of games. They're probably all from Hands Up as well.
Just playing Sky Temple.
Yeah. They like taking teams to Sky Temple.
It's a fun map sometimes. It's a really fun map. But it's not shown to show many stomps or be a long game either. So it's just sort of an average game here. And lastly, let's look at the hero stats here, Aviator.
Yeah, this is always a fun one to look at across all the divisions. And you can see Anduin topping the charts at 688 games. I think that was to be expected. Johanna and Blaze are up there though, and Rhaegar coming in, and then obviously the dwarf in Muradin there. And 2 heroes weren't banned the whole time throughout the season, Lili and Phoenix. Azok will be very disappointed.
Yeah, so last season it was Diva and Butcher. This time Lili and Phoenix. I did actually message Azok mid-stream here and say, look, you've not upped your game. And their excuse was, I have been playing DPS this season. And that's why.
Why has he not been playing DPS Lili?
Well, this is the question I asked him. He said he managed to slip it in a couple of times, but obviously not enough to be banned, Aviator. But yeah, look, notably, the top sort of 4 heroes, Stukov has dropped off. The top 5, and Muradin has taken the place of Anub'arak this season. The rest of them being very, very similar. Jahaka as well being replaced by Blaze, but Rhaegar, Johanna, and Anduin once again reappearing this season. I keep getting the music cutting out because it's Spotify and it's recognizing that I'm streaming, so apologies for that. And that is the end of the playoff preview here, Aviator.
Yeah, that's all 8 divisions covered. The dates are all available on the website, obviously on the calendar, where the matches will start being live and all the casters can start applying to them as soon as they're available as well. Obviously, the grand finals themselves individually will be on this channel, so make sure to check out those. But of course, everything else will be on various caster channels.
Yep. Be sure to make sure you sign up. Check out all of the streams coming up here. These are all best of 5 actions, as Aviator has just said. So don't miss any of it. It will be superb stuff. We've had a great time here tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the little stats preview. We might try and get a writer to do some bits and pieces. But if you are interested in doing the stats or the writing, please let us know as well. That's been all from us here on the stream team. We wish you a good night and a good playoffs. Goodbye.
Bye.